Good morning, everyone. We're going to shift gears a little bit, and the topic of this fireside chat is Bridging Continents, a technology vision for sustainable supply chains. We heard a little bit about supply chains at the beginning. Of course, they're absolutely central to achieving our sustainability goals. And, you know, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Sustainable supply chains, consumer demand, consumers are asking for them. They're more resilient, potentially cost-saving, and yet it's an incredibly complicated and difficult challenge to create sustainable supply chains. And I think regulation only gets us, well, we've heard already some comments about regulation this morning, but given supply chains are so global in nature, I think there's not as much that regulations can do, and maybe it comes down to technology. And I think we're seeing some really interesting technological innovations that can apply to supply chains. And so I'm really pleased to be joined by Shun Onishi-san, Chief Operating Officer and Chief Revenue Officer at Fujitsu, of course, the Japanese tech company. And Shun, thank you so much for joining us here today. And I wanted to start by, well, firstly, you know, I think you've come a very long way, so it's an apt title, Bridging Continents. And perhaps for those in the audience, maybe just to say a little bit about how Japanese companies are viewing sustainability, right? Do they see it as a priority? And if so, why?
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. So for having me here today. So I'm pleased to have a session today. And let us starting about the challenges that Japan as a country facing. So of course, all of you know we are the aging society. 30% of our population is just over 65 years old. And also we are the resource poor nations. The energy consumption sufficiency rate is just about 13%. Also highly prone to natural disaster like earthquake and typhoons and heavy rains. And the relevant example was happened in the huge earthquake with magnitude 7.6 in Noto Peninsula. Destroyed the very traditional deep culture cities to be destroyed. So in that sense, in Japan, the clock is running fast ahead sustainability terminology. But because of this, we have the good example use case that we can share. So on that point, resiliency is the national priority.
And so we've heard a little bit about, obviously we're living in pretty extraordinary times in terms of the technological innovations we're seeing, the sort of global uncertainty, and of course the need to become more sustainable. And so from your perspective, what do you think we need to do, and what sort of strategies do businesses need to take to help build a more sustainable society at a time of great uncertainty and sort of rapid technological innovation?
Yeah, so as Paul mentioned in his book, there are several elements we need to be aligned with. We need to have a long-term vision and approach. Also, we need to serve the multiple stakeholders and prioritize their needs and embrace the collaboration with other companies. Also, setting the materiality targets and promoting the business transformations and to pursue this. But to do this, the critical thing is that the business transformation we are aiming to do is fulfills the economic viability. The balancing economic growth and sustainability is the key for us.
You can't be sustainable if you're not economically viable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And Fujitsu itself is sort of, as a company, is going through a transformation, right? So how, as Fujitsu, as a technology company, you know, how are you adapting to change and also helping to sort of further sustainability goals?
Okay, thank you. So we started the electronic manufacturer 90 years back. Just long history. But we are conducting the tremendous business portfolio change to be a service-oriented company. Now we are one of the key players of IT and the DX verticals to supporting the IT infrastructure and the digital transformation to the company and the countries. And since the current management has been nominated, including myself, 5 years back, we are engaged in conducting the comprehensive company-wide transformation from internal business re-engineering, implementing the huge ERP implementation, and also conducting the external business transformation to be centralized. And one of the relevant example is our new business model, which we called Fujitsu Uvance. That's the one.
Right, one of the platinum sponsors for today, yeah.
Thank you. So Fujitsu Uvance is highly aligned to our company purpose, which is to make the world more sustainable by building trust through innovation. So in order to realize the world in Uvance, Fujitsu leverages the decades of technology expertise and uses the insights from different multiple verticals. But so we believe the global challenge is becoming increasingly more complex. So which means it is very difficult to resolve the social issues by one company. That's the reason why even we do in a Uvance business, in any cases, we need to collaborate customers and partners to realize our visions in the future. Yeah.
And so what kind of, if we think specifically about the sort of technologies as they're applying to supply chains, right, and sustainability, obviously we've heard a lot about AI recently, but can you talk a little bit about what technologies Fujitsu and you're seeing in the industry that are applied to supply chains and really helping to move the needle towards sustainable supply
Okay, so let me introduce some kind of example. But let me state the back. So Japan is prone to the natural disaster. So it is critical for us to establish a resilient supply chain is a national priority. So but it's not just a unique case in Japan. So even in Europe, you're having the heavy heat waves. Large scale flood water as well, right? So that's the reason why years of dealing with such a situation is the reason why I believe Fujitsu can help. They'll give you a couple of examples. And the collaboration with Tokyo Marine Holdings, which is the largest insurance group. And we collaborated with them, provide the visualization of supply chain risk by using blockchain technology and AI to support the decision making. And as it includes the damage insurance to cover additional cost to revitalize the disruptive supply chain. The one more example is the credential from the multinational customer in the manufacturing verticals. And we integrated the vast amount of data of 200,000 parts from over 3,000 locations from factories and suppliers globally. And using AI technology to supporting future prediction and also optimizing the alignment for the parts in case of a natural disaster or emergency situations. So we provided the real-time risk assessments for the customers in case of not earthquake in January, and they could get the evaluation of profit and loss impacts within 2 days.
And that we've heard a little bit about the importance of collaboration,
Yeah.
right? And just out of interest to follow up on that, how did that collaboration with Tokyo Marine come about?
Yes, and this is one of the relevant examples that we are aiming in urbans is the behavioral change. So traditionally, we are the system integrator. We need to hear out the requirement from the customers to realize their visions. But in case of urbans, we need to work as a partner to build a new business model. So because both of them will not have the clear vision, practical image for the business, which aiming to realize on this.
And obviously, I'd be remiss if, there's a lot of focus on the energy requirements for new technologies, right? So how do you as Fujitsu, how are you managing that, right? You're providing these sort of technological sort of products and services for companies to help them become more sustainable, but how are you managing the energy consumption of technology?
Okay. We are providing some offerings, the case tools to visualize the GHG consumption. And in addition to that, we're supporting to these kind of initiatives by using the data and AI analytics and the kind of AI solutions as well. Yeah.
And we have a question from the audience, and I'll sort of wrap it into this one. But maybe if you could say a little bit more about some of the commitments that Fujitsu has made as a business in terms of sustainability. We're even going beyond that, right? And one question from the audience is, what can European businesses learn from Japanese businesses when it comes to sustainable transformation?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we as a country to prone with the natural disaster and aging society. So I think we have lots of relevant experience we can share to the world. Yeah.
Excellent. And then what about in terms of Fujitsu's commitments, sustainability commitments? Could you say a little bit more about that in terms of the long-term commitments?
Okay. So we announced to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030s. Also net zero across Fujitsu group value chain by 2040. In addition to that, we set the 3 themes of materiality, planet, and prosperity, and people. For example, we set the target in planet category to reduce global GHG emissions by our contribution up to 0.3%. Also, in terms of prosperity point of view, we need to enlarge digital accessibility to 150 million people. That is one of the example and materialities and long-term commitment by Fujitsu.
Okay, excellent. And before I give a bit of a shameless plug to the research we're doing together, I wanted to just mention this other audience question, which I think is interesting. So it says, you mentioned AI. How essential will it be to solving sustainability issues?
Okay. So may I speak about the technology strategy by Fujitsu? So we are focusing on the 5 key technologies to realize a sustainable world: the AI, computing, networking, and the data security, and the converging technologies. So regarding AI, so we launched recently multiple AI platform. And last year, we announced the AI platform named as Kozuchi, so in Japanese words, and the money creating hammer. And the Kozuchi to realize the AI development rapidly. And in September this year, we announced the Takane. Takane is high mountain, and designed the large language model to respond the request by the relatively large enterprise or large national governments to request us to prepare the high secure private environments. And we provided the AI platform within the combinations. And the Takane is the collaboration with the Cohere Inc., which is a Canadian company. So in that sense, the AI is the one of the relevant agenda. Also, expectation for AI usage will continue to grow. But the challenges that we are facing is that the company is fighting over to secure GPU needs, and also using tons of energy, consuming vast amounts of electricity for their AI usage.
Yeah.
So now the question is this sustainable? I don't think so. So in the sense, so Fujitsu is investing and developing the technology to utilize the efficiency of GPU to the less, to realize a less server and less energy for AI usage. So on that point, the technology is actually essential for us to realize a sustainable future. But we need to take care that the technology we use is also sustainable as well.
Yeah, I think for those of you who do read The Economist, I mean, there's some really interesting articles recently about the extraordinary energy demands for these new technologies, but also some really incredible new innovations that a lot of these companies are working on to make the LLMs and these technologies more energy efficient. So, but before we wrap, I did want to give you an opportunity to say a little bit about the work that you're supporting, that Economist Impact is doing. Of course, we heard from Paul Polman. I'm sure many of you will go get his book and get it signed later. But this concept of net positive, right? Moving beyond just being net zero and sustainable to actually measuring your full impact on society and making sure that it is a positive one and not just a neutral one. We're doing some work together on that. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit?
Yeah. So we are collaborating with your company. So Economist Impact create a net positive impact. And its objective of this purpose is to evaluate the maturity, how much each company and each country is making a net positive impact for their environment.
Yeah.
Of course, we will include our insights on this report. And we are set to launch this at World Economic Forum in 2025.
That's great, yes. And so we will, building this net positive index and as well as a self-assessment tool for companies to be able to measure their own impact across their supply chain. So Shun, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you very much for
thank you.
Your sponsorship. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to see you in Davos.
Likewise. Take care.